Hello, welcome to sewlyjo. Today we'll be making a shoulder bag. Now this bag is similar to the Baker Street bag, so if you don't want to make your own pattern, you can download the Baker Street bag pattern from Sew Sweetness website. I believe it's a free pattern. So this was just a rectangle, and I use a plate to round the bottom to get the shape. So you can do that if you want, or you can print off the Baker Street pattern and use that. I'm also going to do my zipper section different to what the pattern says, and I'm going to show you that. I'm also going to place my strap differently. Instead of putting it in the front, in the center of the bag, I'll be putting it on the side in the gusset. These are my strap options. I have this one broad strap that I can use, or this adjustable strap that has a buckle. I've made a tutorial showing you how to make these straps, as well as the D-ring tabs that I'm going to use on the gusset to attach the straps. So you can go to my channel and check my previous videos to get those tutorials to make these parts. So today I'm just going to show you how to make the body of the bag. So let's get started. So let's make the exterior of the bag. So this will be the front and the back pieces, and this will be the gusset, the area that will go around the sides and the bottom. So in order to prepare the gusset, I'm going to shape it a little bit to make it a bit narrower in the top. So this gusset is 28 3/4 inches. All the measurements I will put in the bottom of that I use, I will place them in the bottom of this video in the description section, or you can just follow along using the Baker Street bag. So after cutting out this piece of fabric, we'll measure in from the corners 1 inch and down to 9 inches, where we go kind of veer off the side, so that we'll have this kind of shape here. We'll do it on both sides. So I'm going to fold this in half and do both ends together so I can make one cut. Just line up the top edges, and then we're going to cut down. Spin it to make sure everything is lined up properly. So this will be the shape. So the top here should be about 3 inches wide. Let's just measure it. Yes. So the top of the gusset is 3 inches wide. So what we're going to do now is add the tabs that I prepared to the gusset. So I'm just going to average, let's say I'm going to base place it about 3 inches down from the top. I'm using an erasable pen to mark, so it will be somewhere there. So just below that mark, that 3-inch mark, is where we're going to put a top here. Make sure, I'm just eyeballing it, but make sure it's in the center of your gusset. You can use some glue to secure that, and then take it to your sewing machine and stitch around and make a box, or you can also add in an X inside. Okay, so I've attached my the earring tabs to the gusset. Now this is evidence of the struggle I went through trying to stitch this finial using my domestic sewing machine. I had to hand crank in order to get this somewhat decent stitching on it. Do not tip for sewing with vinyl, do not back stitch. Pull your thread through to the back and tie them off and cut. So it was a mess, but I got through. I used a larger sewing machine needle. I'm using 18. I think you can get away with a 16. And I used the longest stitch length available to me, which is a 4mm. And my tension is between 4 and 5. It's about 4.5. So that's how I was able to get this done, but it also has some glue in the back to hold it just in case. And this is the other one. Well, as you can see here, it's not perfect, but it will do. So we'll continue. And also I use a Teflon foot on my sewing machine to glide across the vinyl. So hopefully that helps you. So now we're going to attach the gusset to the main exterior of the bag. So we're going to take the gusset and place it right sides together with one of the exterior pieces. So you can mark the center of your piece by folding it in half like this, and then we're going to put a notch at the center. So let's put a notch here. Just a tiny mark so that you can see it, no more than minutes. For the next side, right there. I've also done the same thing to mark the center of my exterior piece. I'm going to mark the top as well when I'm at it. Okay. There. And place your pieces right sides together, lining up the exterior bottom. I'm going to use some pins. Remove this one. What you can also do is put some clips around this curved edge here so that it will lay flat. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to put some clips in it. Not too big, just about 1/8. You don't want to get in too much into the seam allowance. And do the bottom as well. make it easier to go around the turns. Okay, so I've completed stitching around the sides and bottom using a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and as you can see I have some excess which I will cut off, and then I'm going to attach the other exterior piece to this and stitch around as well. Okay, so this is my completed exterior. I've stitched around and I trimmed down the seam allowance. So let's turn this right sides out so you can see what we have. Okay, I didn't have much trouble sewing this part together. I think the stitching looks pretty good. I'm just gonna roll around to get a shape of the bag. So this is our exterior complete. Okay. So we'll set this aside and let me show you the lining. You follow all the steps and to put the lining together. The only difference with the lining, you will leave an opening at the bottom or on the side, you choose. I left mine on the bottom about 4 inches, and this will be used for turning the bag right sides out. At the top of the lining you can see a line. This line is 2 inches from the top edge. I'm going to cut this off of the lining and I'm going to attach it to the exterior of the bag. It will all make sense as we go along to attach our zipper. I've lined up the edges and pinned, and I'm going to cut away the 2 inches. We're going to set the remainder of the lining aside. Now we're going to connect this, the lining piece, to our exterior. We're going to turn it over right side. We're going to pin these two, matching up the seams. Right sides together. Well, I won't be pinning, I will be clipping so that I don't put holes in the vinyl. So open up your seams and line them up. I'm going to finish this up and then I'm going to come back and show you. So I've completed pinning around the top edge of the bag and a piece of the lining, and I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and I'm going to stitch around it using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I've completed adding the 2-inch piece around the top edge of the exterior, and this is what it looks like. This will fold in and be on the inside when we're attaching the lining. So we're going to set this aside and then we're going to make our zip. Let's prepare the zipper section. So my zipper is about 15 inches long because I need it longer than my fabric so I can sew with ease. You'll need 4 strips of fabric to sew on both sides of your zipper. The width of my fabric piece is the width of the bag, which is about 13 inches, and the gusset section was about 3 inches. So I made the side of this piece 2.5 inches. I removed 1/2 inch. So it's the width of the bag by the width of the gusset minus 1/2 inch. So I'm going to sew these 4 pieces of fabric onto the zipper, and then we're going to attach it to our lining. After you finish sewing your zipper on and pulling the 2 sides away from the zip, you will press and then you will sew along the zip down the short edge and come around the side and up the short edge again on both sides. So let's attach our zipper to the lining of the bag. Find the center of the zipper and put 2 notches on each side, the center of your lining piece, and place some notches to mark it. Make sure your lining is on the wrong side out and that your zipper is right sides facing out. So the zipper pull should be facing you. Now we're going to attach, we're going to pin the 2 together, and then we're going to take it to the sewing machine and sew it around. Let's turn our exterior of the bag wrong sides out. Okay, so now that your exterior is wrong side out and your lining is wrong side out, with your zipper installed, open your zipper halfway so that you can put your hand through when it's time for turning. We're gonna put these 2 together by attaching it to this 2-inch piece that we had stitched on the exterior earlier. Line up the center and clip all around, and we'll take it to the sewing machine and sew it together. So I've pinned all around the bag, sides, make sure you line up the side seams. And then we're gonna stitch around using a 1/2-inch seam allowance. So I've sewn around, all around the lining and the exterior pieces, and now I'm going to pull the exterior through the opening on the lining. Make sure your zipper is open before you stitch up. So mine is open, so I can just pull and bring the exterior through the lining. Take your time. So this is how the bag will look. Make sure you push everything in, finger press, or if you have a seam roller you can use that. If you're not using vinyl and just cotton fabric, you can press, or you can clip it down for a bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to stitch the opening closed, and then we're gonna top stitch. We're gonna pin it down around here so we can get it neat, and we're gonna top stitch using a top stitch all around using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So here we have our completed bag. I've stitched the opening closed using a net stitch of 1/8, and I top stitch around the top using 1/4 inch seam allowance, and your bag is now complete. And this is what your zipper section will look like, neat and inside of the bag. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. I will put all the dimensions in the description below. And this is our bag with our side strap tabs, and here I have some options for straps. This is one, an adjustable shoulder strap that can be connected to the side. Like this. And there's a buckle which you can adjust to your likeness, so you can wear this across one shoulder or across the body and make it a crossbody bag. There's also another option for a shorter shoulder strap that I made here. This tutorial is showing how to reduce a wide strap to fit a smaller lobster hook. You can find all these tutorials on my channel. I will link to them in the description for you, so you can check those out and add them to your bag. So you have this option as well if you prefer to have a shorter strap with a bit of contrast. So this would be your shoulder strap. Okay, so that's our bag.